Hi everyone, it's Manda from Manda's Ramblings. Today the light keeps changing. Sorry, the sun keeps shining through the window and it will keep changing as it goes on. Can't do very much about that. It's the best position to sit that actually gets some sunlight. So what are we starting with today? Today let's start with what I finished. So I finished this cat. This is called a loaf kitten and it's by MPT Designs. And I was lucky enough to test this one because it's really cute and it's got, the cat butt, which made me giggle. So it goes well with my cat butt coasters. Just put it back there for a moment. I then worked on my own design, which is a dragon head. As you can see, it's got teeth and horns and little horn up here and ears. Now I actually used a book, Draw Your Own Dragons. I think it's under the table here. No, it can't. Yeah, there it is. So it's how to draw your own dragons, and I chose one of the pictures because it was face on. As you can see, there's loads of different pictures in here. Because it was facing me, basically, and then I've written all over what I actually did to make it. I'm not 100% happy with it, so I've not actually finished it. I'm really quite happy with it, as in I like the structure, I like the facial shape. I'm not happy with these horns here. I think he looks a bit like a spider. They're just looking at the front. But I'm happy with the teeth, these ones. So I'm probably going to remake him. I like the eyes. Yeah, I like the eyes. So I'm going to probably remake him. And make him a guardian, put him on a plaque so that he'll hang on the wall as a guardian, because I don't think he needs a body. I wasn't quite happy with him. So that takes me on to the next dragon. This dragon has been in the making for a very long time. It's Crafty Intentions design. It came out of the book, the first book that she published. It's one of the mini dragons. It's the mini dragon rather than the mini wyvern. And Jessie and I each made one. She's taken hers round to her house next door. We each made one, and Jessie's only just learning to crochet. She knows most of the stitches but forgets what to do, so I had to tell her what to do on every single stitch as we went round. I'm really proud of her. Hers does look like this. She chose a yellow as orange as her main colour, which I told her she wouldn't have enough of, but she was insistent. So hers has actually got an orange body, half an orange face, and then it's blue down the back, which is what she wanted. She was more than happy with it, but she did so well on the stitching. She needs to get a bit more tension on it. She knows that, and not get so frustrated when she can't get it in there, but that's just it. Let me just tilt these blinds a little bit and see if it will stop the light changing every time I breathe. So let's tilt these. Might make it a little darker, I'm afraid, but that's about the best I can do. There you go, at least it'll stop changing colour every fart's end. Oh no, it's still going to change colour every fart's end. Sorry about that. So, the next thing that you'll have watched me if you're watching my Facebook page and my Instagram is this. This is a shawl pattern that I have just crochet tested. It's called Memories, and it's by Cosmic G Designs. And it's lovely. I'm really happy with the colours I've used, really happy with the stitch definition. Love this bit here, always do. Always makes me smile when we do these ones. Back post, front posts, really like it. Back stitch, front stitch, they look really good. So I'm really happy with that. And that's up for sale if anybody fancies it. It's in acrylic, so it's not mega expensive. £35, but do need to pay the postage. So that's finished and just needs maybe a bit of blocking. Sorry about the hair, sorry about the nose. Oh, forget it. I don't care. So this is, I showed you it last week, I believe. This is the Scarf Letty by Let's Knit. And as you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. Yeah, really quite pleased with it. The yarn is Oil Slick by Wizard Yarns, and it is beautiful. It doesn't show up well in this light, but it is showing up the definition of the lace work. It's actually cabling and lacing, which I don't know. Nah, you're not going to be able to see it on the screen. Sorry about that. But it is, I have been really impressed with myself, because I've been working on that a couple of rows a night, most nights, to try and get that complete. And I'm probably just over halfway. Maybe not. Maybe coming up for halfway. Really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. So that brings me on to this one that I'm working on at the moment. And this, let's get it the right way in. There you go. So this is, yeah, this light is really not good. Let me try again. Let me pull the lights and see if we can see what we're doing. We need a bit more light on the show without it being too light. Let's see if that'll make a difference. Sorry about this. I'm sure you're getting to look at my pictures very nicely. No, it's not going to show it. So that's terrible. Hold on. There. Okay, so this is the Carston Lake by Knit for Your Soul, and it's a moss stitch at the top and in panels moss stitch down the side, followed by a reverse stocking stitch, and it's all done in panels. There's a hell of a lot of work goes into it. It'll be a cardigan when it's finished, and I am looking forward to wearing it. It's been one that's on my list for a very, very long time. I started it the day before I went for surgery, so 6 weeks ago, and then had to promptly pull it all back because it was absolutely, I'd made a cock up. Yeah, I hadn't read the instructions right, which, as people said, probably wasn't my best idea to try and do it the day before I went to surgery. But hey, it's one of those things. So that's what I've got done and what I am currently working on, apart from this, which is a sneaky peek. That's as much as I can show you. That's a secret test knit, test crochet. That's for Lizzie of MPT Designs. I'm not even going to tell you its name because once it's done I'll share it with you. So I'm about to start a new test knit. This is for a hat and a cowl, and I can only share teasables, so little bits. So here's my first tease, the colour. I'm not even going to tell you who it's by. I will do in the future, maybe next time. But these are the colours I've chosen. I've chosen to do it in acrylic yarn purely for the fact that I wanted to use solids. And although I do have some solids, most of them are semi-solids, and I wanted these to work well together as opposing colours. And I think these will work well together. What two colours would you use as contrasts? What's the heavy contrast that you like to use together? Which do you prefer using? Do you prefer using acrylic yarn or wool? I like using both. I don't really have a preference as to what I knit with. As you might have noticed, the shawl's in acrylic. I actually prefer to crochet in acrylic. I find it more forgiving. This shawl's 100% merino. No, it might not be 100% merino. Let me tell you, it says it on here. No, it's 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. So yeah, there you go. See, got the label in there for the change. And the last one is 100% wool because it's cascade yarn. I literally am working from stash at the moment. Everything that you see and have seen in the last, wow, since the last time I bought yarn, I can tell you I bought 3 balls of chunky to do a test knit for somebody in February. I hadn't actually bought any yarn before that. I have been gifted 5 small skins, so 100 grams of sock yarn, which I turned straight into socks. Yeah, but everything else is coming out of stash, so I'm really quite pleased with myself. My stash is going down quite nicely, which means, of course, that once I get down through the stash, I can actually buy the yarn I actually want, personally, and stuff that I'd like to use for myself. At the moment, I am using stash yarn that I have bought through the last few years. I topped up the colours when it was on cheap because I was using it mainly for orders. I haven't had that many orders through the last few weeks. I think the world's just changed since COVID. Had quite a lot through COVID, and now I get more scammers in my message box than anywhere else. Don't know about anyone else. I know lots of people are getting scammers, but I don't know how everyone else is doing for orders. Tend to have turned myself on to doing a lot more test knits and test crochets, because I like to have a target and an aim to work for. So I actually find I work quicker. Well, not so much quicker, but I actually enjoy the project more if I have a time scale. So when I do test knits, they tell you when they want it made for, and test crochets. So I then just get on with it and I get it finished by that time. When I'm making it purely for myself, I keep putting it down and thinking, I'll do that in a minute, or I'll do that next time, or I'll pick that up when I want to. And that's a really bad thing to do, but it is something I think we all tend to do. So yeah, I'm much more productive if I have a time scale. So I've turned myself to doing other people's test knits. I do have a lot of ideas for my own makes that I really ought to get down, but I find it really hard on my head. The concentrating, the writing, being dyslexic, I find it quite difficult. I have just Jessie's just given me her dictaphone, and I'm hoping that whilst I'm doing my crochet, I'm going to use the dictaphone so that I'm not having to stop to do loads of writing. It should help me to then just write it up straight on the computer instead of doing it onto pen and paper, then onto the computer. That's the bit that I find the ball ache, making the mistakes from taking it from one to the other. It doesn't matter because lovely people test it for me and then tell me what I've done wrong. I've got one test out there at the moment, and that's for my jump knitted shrug. I have several more of those that I'd like to make in different stitches, and I don't know, I might just turn myself into making a lot of those. Yeah, do you wear shrugs? Is that something you'd wear? It was something I didn't think I'd wear, but I wear a lot, actually. Not so much this last week where it's been 32 degrees in our garden. We're up to 24. That's why the sun keeps shining through the window so brightly and causing the keep changing on my screen. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to stop that. It's pretty annoying. I'm sorry about that. I'll try and work it out for next time. What else have I been up to? Oh, I've got my next surgery date. For those of you that weren't aware, I was waiting to have ablations, which is basically they're going to remove the lining of my womb with, I believe it's like a form of acid. Yeah, not very nice to talk about, but after having incredibly heavy periods for years and years, and I know there's plenty of you out there with the same problem as me, I have been going backwards and forwards to my doctor saying, what can I take, what can I do, how can I deal with this? And then 2 years ago, it's 3 years ago now, I actually started bleeding and didn't stop for an entire year, and it took them nearly a year to decide to do something about it. Kept getting told to have the implant on in and all the rest of it, and for 6 weeks I might not bleed, but then it was continuous, and so heavy that I actually was fainting, and I smashed my chin. I still got a little that's not a dimple. I have a scuff on my chin where I've smashed the bone, where I landed on my face in the bathroom. Quite a scary experience. Anyway, that was a couple of days before they took me in to remove a polyp, and we'd put it down to the pain, down to gallbladder and lady pains, and it wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. But the reason I fainted, it turns out, was because of this blood loss and polyps. I had one big polyp, and it was causing the blood, instead of to pool and collecting my womb to come straight out, and continuous, just never stopped. So I have actually been much better since they removed that, but not to the stage that it's normal by any stretch of the imagination. So I go on the 1st of August to go and have these ablations done. Part of me is looking forward to not having the periods, part of me is not looking forward to the ow, because obviously it's going to be ow, they're burning the inside of you. I'm hoping it's not going to be too ow. I've only just recovered from the gallbladder surgery 6 weeks ago. It'll actually be 7 weeks just by the time that they do this surgery. I don't know whether I'm awake or asleep for it. I'll find out that when I go to the pre-op, which happens to be the day before the surgery, so that's not very good, but that's what happens when they're last minute. I was told it would be 3 months from having the polyps removed to be having this surgery 18 months ago. So I have been waiting now for over 3 years to have this particular procedure or a procedure of the same sort done, so that I can feel more human, basically. That I don't feel that I'm going to leak every time I walk out the house. Sorry for any men that are listening today. I might put a warning that we're talking about periods. I know not all of you can deal with it, or don't want to deal with it, or don't want to listen to it, and that's perfectly fine. I personally think it's part of being a woman and part of being, together as a life. You have to deal with them, so you might as well talk about it. And being open about it and talking about it, it might just help someone else. So if you have particularly heavy periods, go and talk to them. The implant on worked for the first year and was a bit of a lifesaver. I've still got the implant on in, and it works quite well. Tablets don't work, no point, they make it worse. All I can say is that I will be glad when they do this and stop them, because I'm hoping that I will be a new woman. I won't have the belly pains from the gallbladder, I won't have the belly pains from the lady cramps, and I'm able to eat what I want. I have put the weight back on. I was putting it back on whilst I had the gallstones, to be honest with you, because I was eating sugar rather than food, because, most foods I couldn't eat. Now I've finished, it was the lack of exercise, because obviously your movements has to be reduced. I am nearly fully recovered now from that particular surgery, apart from I have one scar, the one that looked the neatest when it was done. The one up here, right underneath my boobs, and rib cage, that one burst and has healed really nicely. And we thought that one was going to be the pain in the bum. It wasn't. My belly button one is healing really nicely. Did cause me a bit of problems because of where it is, that it's under your belly button, and so I ended up with my pants rubbing on it, so I've worn a lot of dungarees, knickers rubbing on it, which you can't really take your knickers off. I wasn't able to wear a bra for a few weeks, which was a real pain in the bum. But the one on the side where they told you'd get most of the pain didn't give me any grief whatsoever, other than the bruising when it first came out. That wasn't so bad. I've literally just 4 weeks, it's 6 weeks now, between 4 and 5 weeks the bruising actually finally went. But this one at the bottom, the very bottom one, which healed so nicely, didn't have any bruising on it whatsoever. When the scab came off, the glue, because they use glue, the wound was really quite deep, and the glue was really right to the very bottom, and it left a gaping hole. I think there might be some glue still in the bottom of it. It keeps pushing bits out, whether that's scab or glue, I'm not sure. There's no smell, it's not nasty in that sense, but it is painful because it's like a spot constantly under pressure, and then it'll push it out. So I am hoping that that's going to finish and heal in the next week, so that when I go for the next sort of surgery, I've only got one thing to deal with at a time. But it is nice that by the time we go on our next holiday, which is in a few months' time, I should be okay. Other than, obviously, the normal aches and pains from having degenerative discs and arthritis. Yeah, I should be okay. I'll be able to eat the same food as everybody else, so that'll be much, much better. Yeah, I'll be able to go out without thinking about putting on an extra pad or taking my cup or trying to make sure that I've got extra pads and know where the toilets are. So, yeah. I'm sorry this post hasn't all been about Manda's knitting and all the rest of it, but it is called Manda's Rambling. And I am looking forward to being a bit more normal, back to normal, how I was 3 years ago. So that will be, well, maybe a bit longer than that, but that will be much better. So other than that, what have I done? I've actually started walking the dogs again, which is something I haven't been able to do for a while. I'm enjoying that. I'm going to go now and finish this crochet for Lizzie of MPT Designs. Then I'm going to start the next one. This one, I'm really excited. It's knitted, hat and cowl, and yeah. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble. I think I needed to get that off my chest. Really sorry about the light from this window affecting my screen. I don't know. See, it just keeps going light and dark. I don't know if that's me waving my arms around or what it is or how to make it any different. I need the natural light to be able to show you what I've done. But at the same time, yeah, it's not working very well today. It's just causing mayhem. Apologies about the way I look. My hair's a mess today. Really don't give a shit. But that's just me. I've got a spot on my nose that's just decided it's going to erupt and turn into a scab. But hey. So behind me you can see the little array. It's getting bigger. Yeah, much to Dave's disgust. Other than that, thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.